and welcome to Sweet Treats with Mrs. Lewis. You guessed it, I'm Mrs. Lewis. So for our last Sweet Treats video for the summer program, I decided that I was going to try to find some things that I just had lying around my house and come up with some creative idea. So I'm going to tell you what I have, and I'm going to give you some other options just in case you don't have this stuff lying around your house. I'm a baker, so I always have some crazy things. You're going to need regular marshmallows, mini marshmallows, green melted chocolate, lollipop sticks, and this is kind of where the optional comes in. I have little candy eyeballs. I actually have two different sizes, like really small and a little bit bigger. And then, or if you don't have those, I would recommend chocolate chips. You could use the regular size or the mini ones. And then I happen to have these Twizzlers twists. You need the red in here. I would prefer the rope ones, the ones that are twisted together, or you could use red fruit by the foot and then cut it. It's whatever you have lying around. If you can come up with some other creative idea, that's awesome. So the first thing that you have to do is have an adult melt your melting chocolate in the microwave. So it's 30 seconds, check it, 30 seconds, check it, stir it. And then mine only took a minute, but it could take longer depending on your microwave, so then it looks sort of like this. I always put it on top of paper towel because it's hot. And then what you do, actually I would probably start with this. So I would take the mini one, and then I actually grabbed a toothpick. I wouldn't take too much of this. You can use any color for this, but I'm going to use green because it's what I already have melted. Put just a little dot on here. I'm going to use actually the bigger eyeballs for mine. So you just take it and you stick it on here like this. And then I'll just let it sit here sort of to set. And I'll grab another one, do the same thing. Put a little dot on here. Works as a glue. And take your eyeball, stick it on. Like I said, you can use any color because sometimes if you use a little too much, it kind of runs down and you're gonna see the green behind the eyeball, which is fine too. But you use whatever you have. You can use frosting, whatever. So of course this little guy's gonna fall over. So we'll see. And if the eye pops off, which could happen, and then if it does, that'd be awesome. And then I'll show you exactly how to fix it. So I'm just gonna let it sit here while I'm working on the other stuff. And then we'll see what happens. So then take your lollipop stick, just stick it just a little bit in there so you get it right on the tip like this. And then you choose your marshmallow and you're gonna do it this way, not this way. So you gotta stick it right in the bottom. Now be careful not to push it all the way through because you don't want it to come out the top, but push it just enough so that you know that it's set. And then what you're gonna do is tip it upside down, put it in here. I use a spoon just to help me, but you can do whatever you want, and then carefully pull it out. And then I just tap it gently because sometimes if you tap it too hard, it'll fall out. And if you, for some reason, you get some of the green on the popsicle, like the stick, you can I just usually run my finger over it and just get it off, but you can leave it there and I'll just wipe it on my paper towel here. And I just keep tapping until it's not so drippy, because if it's too drippy, then it's gonna drip all over the place when you stand it up, and you don't want it to drip down the handle and have to mess with that. So I just gently do that. So this is almost done. I don't know if you can figure out yet what we're making, but maybe you guessed already. All right, so then what you do, I'll do one more quick because it's a big glove, clip it off. Okay, so it should look like this. Okay, so then what you do, and you kind of have to do it sort of quickly because it'll start melting, is you take your eyeballs and you stick them on the top. Whoops, one next to the other, the best you can. And you gotta kind of make sure they don't slide off because it looks like this. They could slide off because it is still sort of wet. So then the next thing that I would do is, I'm gonna put this over here. I know you won't be able to see it yet, but I don't want to show you yet because I have another one already done. I'm putting it over here. I'll explain what I did with it after. So what you have to do now is, so let me show you where the Twizzlers came into play. So I have a cutting board here, and what I did was I cut, so I have the Twizzler, and I cut it into little pieces like this, so that you could sort of bend it up. You figure it out, like a little mouth? All right, so then I'm gonna take my little guy, I'm gonna take my little mouth, and do this. So I made a couple, my other one is a little bit different. Okay, so it looks like this. It's cute, right? Can you figure out what it is? If you haven't guessed, I will let you know. It's a frog. So I thought frogs sort of had something to do with fairy tales, like the Princess and the Frog, and all that stuff. So that's what this one looks like. So I also made another one earlier, and here's what I'm going to show you. It looks like this. So what you do is this. I got this is a little foam block, and sometimes people use these for. I mean, they use them for lots of things, but sometimes people put them in maybe a basket or a vase, and then they stick fake flowers in it, and it's hard, so it holds them up so they stand up. So I like to use these to hold these so that they can dry, and I don't lay them down and then ruin half of it. So this guy that I just made has the mouth this way, and this one I used the smaller eyeballs, and I put the mouth, instead of a mouth I made it a tongue, like, because frogs usually stick their tongues up and catch little flies. So if you're very creative and you have all these things, you can actually put a mini chocolate chip on the end of the tongue, and it could look like a fly. I didn't have any mini chocolate chips, and I figured my regular ones would be too big, so I didn't do that. But the world is your imagination. You do whatever you want. So that is what I did. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed all of the Sweet Treats classes that we did this summer. I do have a Facebook page, Sweet Treats with Mrs. Lewis. So if you have an adult that has a Facebook page and you want to look me up, I have other videos of various other things that I've done, and I post food pictures and all that stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed it, because I've enjoyed doing this for you, and I hope you have a great rest of the summer, and maybe I'll see some of you at school. Bye.